Hi guys, it's Nena, Foxy Mama 365, back again with the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 13, Episode 6. Whew, we're dragging along. Anyways, the given peace. So Cynthia is having a conversation with Mike and she's like, oh, we already have 167 people have confirmed for the wedding. And she was thinking that, oh well, that meant people were not going to come because obviously the pandemic is still going on. But yeah, if they already have 167 people that have confirmed and a few more people haven't confirmed yet, they're looking at close to 250 people showing up. So she's like, we were thinking maybe 50 each. That's 100 people. What are we going to do? So anyway, they're going to have to figure it out, okay? Now, she's talking about having invited everybody in her family who was, RSVP'd, except, of course, her dad. She doesn't know whether she's going to put out an invite. And it's surprising that Mike hasn't even met her dad yet, you know? But she said that for the last 2 years or so, she said there's been kind of a rift not long after the PSA that was done by Kenya, in which her mom spoke about domestic violence and all of that. That after that, her dad and her kind of like stop speaking. And Mike is trying to say, well, it's whatever you want to do. He would like their dad to be there. If that makes Cynthia happy, then she should do that and not try to make other people happy. Cynthia's like, well, you know what? Well, they'll figure it out. Drew and Ralph, quite frankly, I don't care about Drew and Ralph. They're a cute couple. I hope they get their act together. He lost his dad. I really don't care about Drew and moving on. Kandi is still trying to get her 92,000 from her ex, from Block. And I totally am in support of her getting her money from him. Because raising a child is not just about money. Let me start by putting that out there. Because raising a child also includes having to make sure, checking on the child's well-being, cooking, feeding. You know, there's so much more. Diaper changes. You know, like, there's so much more to taking care of it, raising a child. And anyway, she's got Mike Sterling, that is, as her lawyer, who is now going to go after Block. And he said he's done a filing already and they're asking him to show his 5 years proof that he's been paying child support for the last 5 years. So we'll see what's going to happen. Of course, Jamie's still there after that beat down by Porsha some years back. Hi Jamie, we see ya. Anyway, the other lady, the makeup artist and the stylist are saying that the judge is so going to deny this because Kandi has the money and all of that. And it's really not about the money. At this point, Riley is 18. So Kandi has done it, yeah? And she's done an excellent job. But Riley is 18 and Riley is saying, look, she wants her cash, she wants her money, right? And being that she's in New York, there's still going to be expenses like feeding, housing and things like that, which will still be of help to just have the money, you know? Or even put it in a trust fund for Riley. And Kandi's argument is that Block actually made a lot of money. So where did all his money go? And I think it's kind of unfair to expect Kandi to just, like forget about the money. No, like she's done all the hard work of the diaper changing, the talking, the yelling, the speaking, the emotional support for the child and all the other things that come, feeding a child. There's so much that goes into raising a child and Kandi has done most of it on her own, So if we're only asking for financial support, that he should be able to do. And it's not even that much, $92,000. Stop it. So anyway, we're going to see how that's going to end. Cynthia is having some kind of dinner with Porsha, which is kind of cool. We rarely see Cynthia and Porsha shoot together except when they're in a group. And these are the effects of when Nini's not around. Because if Nini was still in the show, Porsha will be filming with Nini, Cynthia will be filming with Nini. But you see, at this point, Porsha has realized, you know what? Nini ain't here, I have to, and I don't even see her filming that much with Tanya. She's done a few things with Tanya, but you know what? She's got to get back good with the group, and she's not speaking with Kenya. She's not that good with Kenya, so I'm just happy to see that she's making an effort to be, to make this friendship reach out to Cynthia and Kandi. So anyways, Cynthia wants to know what is going on with Dennis. Because you guys are always on and off. Today he's here, tomorrow he's gone, he's deleted from the... What in the world is going on? And at this point, the waitress comes and is like, can I take your order? Oh, child. Porsha is like, yes, girl, bless your heart. You came at the right time. Cynthia like, So she goes again. She's like, what is happening? What's going on? Because apparently Mike has said, look, he really likes Dennis. Dennis is his guy, you know, but she's going to sit down with Porsha and find out what's going on, if it's okay to have Dennis at their wedding. And of course, before the tea gets spilled again, the waitress shows up and she's like, girl, can you allow me to get this tea before you come and actually try and pour tea, okay? So Cynthia, Porsha's trying to explain what's going on, and she's saying how through the pandemic, you know, after the whole cheatation and everything, allegations, the whole cheatation and the affair, now we hear it's an affair, okay? After that whole thing, she was able to get over it, but I don't really think she's gotten over it. But anyways, I know they went to counseling, but she said she's gotten over it. However, she was just not in a happy place with him, and little things started making them fight, and you know, they had literally been through it all. And she found out she wasn't being herself. She now gave an instance of when the final breakthrough or whatever it was, that she had asked him to make some milk for her daughter, and he took a while. He had gone down and took him over 20 minutes, and he came back and she started going in on him, and it went into a full-blown argument, and he was right out the door, and that was pretty much it. So she said, you know what, after fighting the Black Lives Matter situation and doing all of that, she just wanted to really come back home and be at peace. And I totally can understand that, you know, it is what it is. Moving on. Well, like I said, well, at this point, Porsha is really saying she really doesn't want Dennis to be there. If Cynthia can wing that, she's going to need Cynthia to use her coochie to swing that. Noelle is back in the picture. She is doing very well. She's now an Instagram influencer. Good for you, Noelle. So she's doing her thing, and I'm happy for Noelle. And it's okay. Sometimes some kids decide that they don't want to go to college, that college is not for them, or they might later on decide, oh, you know what, maybe now I've lived a little, I now know what life is about, and this is what interests me. I want to become a lawyer. Like Kim Kardashian right now, years after she has decided, oh, she's going to go into law, and you know, she's doing her thing. And this is after she has made a lot of money off being a social media influencer. Yeah, so Cynthia is hoping that she can come home and you know, spend some time with her. And this takes me back to Olivia Jade. Remember Olivia Jade? Yeah, she's also in social media. She used to be, and pretty much her mom. She got into that whole scandal of, you know, paying money to get into the big schools. And she was one of the daughters she was a daughter that her mom paid a lot of money for. And pretty much Olivia Jade was doing so well. She was literally on a yacht, allegedly. She was literally on a yacht when the news broke that her mom had paid money to influence to get her into school and say that she was on the rowing team or whatever it was. You know, and she's like, she didn't even want to go to school. She was doing so well. She was making money. She was living her life. So sometimes we as parents need to take some steps back and let the kids, you know, do them. You know, college might not be for every child. Okay. Kandi Cares. So Porsha is there. Tanya is there already. Marlo came earlier on and they got the fruits and all of that. So they get to, Kandi is very excited to see Porsha, and Porsha is actually there early. So she's very excited, and she's doing her $5,000. So she's really happy, and she's like, that's really a blessing. So pretty much the whole thing is to have groceries that she can give out to families, especially single moms through the pandemic, especially with all people losing jobs and people losing houses and losing homes and not being able to keep, there's just so much going on in the pandemic that where you can help, it's nice to help. Kenya shows up, and of course, once Kenya shows up, she starts bossing everybody around. And they take us back to where she was in Houston with Shamia, and she's like, can you guys less speaking and more walk? And she's like, and everybody's like, and I think the ladies are just over her. But anyways, it is what it is. So Porsha gets to telling Tanya the conversation she had with Cynthia. And she's like, and Tanya's like, everybody else is talking to Dennis except what's going on? And Kandi says, actually, Todd also had a conversation with Mike. And Mike is saying, yeah, that whether with or without, that he really would like Dennis to be there. And Porsha is like, really? And of course, at this point, Kenya has to chime in. Kenya is just so mean-spirited. She's like, yeah, Porsha, who really cares about this, whether you and Dennis are going to be there? But the thing is that nobody really knows. Today you guys are good, tomorrow. But if you guys are in a good place, and she's like, well, we're not really in that much of a good place. Well, the problem is, according to Kenya, is that when this thing happens, you get on your henny and then you bust it wide open. That you should take accountability and not expect Cynthia to be the... Porsha, and everybody's like, what the hell are you talking about? She's just not in a good place. Anyway, because And also she finds it funny, that's Porsha is finding it funny that you guys are actually making me be the one to not bring a date because, you know, and it's my friend's wedding. Anyways, no one cares according to Kenya, okay? Stay off the henny and keep your legs closed. That's what they're trying to say. But anyway, Porsha is like, girl, just stay in your lane, okay? You really don't know what's going on. Cynthia gets her marriage license, and I'm happy. And this time around, she's going to be holding it close to her, okay? She's not letting it go. Marlo drops her 5,000. So the ladies get to having lunch at the after the Kandi Care event, or in between the Kandi Care event, and then at this point, Marlo comes in and Marlo gives the $5,000 and she's like, yes, girl, here's your check. And I don't want you to say it was $50 or it was $100 or whatever it was. Here it is. I wonder who Kandi says that some people aren't that giving. And I'm like, who's she talking about? I know that usually Kenya is a giving person. And she already said Porsha gave $5,000. So I'm like, okay, can it be Tanya? Who else? I don't know. But at this point, Drew calls and she's like, oh, sorry she can't be there because obviously she's doing some stuff. She's moving. But she sent her widow's mite because she was also a single mom at the point. So she understands how important it is to have groceries and stuff like that. So yeah, of course, Kenya cannot help herself. She's like, oh, she doesn't know where this tray is. Cynthia picks up this tray is from. I'm like, girl, you're going to already start shading this girl? Like, really? Anyways, we find out that Drew and Porsha are literally going to be neighbors, so they can actually do can I get some sugar, please? Yeah. So Kenya is asking the ladies that, oh, we're going to need to go do a getaway. That she and Latoya were thinking that, yeah, in the pandemic, where can they go? Somewhere they don't need to fly, somewhere they can drive, somewhere with a beach or with mountains or something really cool. So they're looking at places. Charleston looks good. Destin is a nice one too. Tennessee, somewhere nice. And the ladies are like, yeah, they're up for it. Well, we'll see where that goes. So they're going to figure it out and we'll see. Everybody, I'm so due for a holiday. I'm like, oh, guys, do you know it's almost going to be a year since we've been caught in this whole pandemic? I remember March 10th, March 16th, that week was when everything hit the fence in the world. Anyways, moving on. Noelle is here and she's so self-absorbed. She looks really pretty. And Cynthia's like, yeah, she gets her cheekbones from me. Okay? But yeah, Noelle is like, yes, mama. Yes, mom. And she's like, what in the world? Cynthia's like, what in the world is going on? Daughter, I'm going to need you to put down the phone for a minute so we can have a conversation. So she's taking Noelle along to go meet her grandma because she wants to ask if she can bring her dad. And Noelle is in a good place. It's obviously her grandmom's daughter, so pretty much. So she's like, well, Noelle will be able to help out. And she's very excited about that, for having Noelle to have her back. Mallory done ate all the pork chops, okay? But Mallory really, I saw this picture of Mallory. She looks so good. Anyways, her mom is upset over the fact that there was some kind of message that had been sent on Father's Day to Cynthia's dad, in which she was thanking him for all the memories. And her mom is like, what memories, girl? If you don't get... Her mom, I totally understand where her mom is coming from. And a lot of times, this is what usually happens. You know, a lot of times you find when a woman raises a child, later on in life, the man wants to try and come in, you know, like when the child is getting married, like, especially like when the child has made or is doing well, then the father wants to be recognized as the father, you know. So her mom is a little upset about that whole thing. And she's like, what memories? Like, listen, you were 3, you were 4, you know, you guys literally, he wasn't there. You know, pretty much I did everything. I was your mom, I was your dad. Mallory was saying, yeah, I totally understand, but he's always going to be my dad and I have a relationship with him. And, you know, it's a very sensitive thing. It's good you're talking about it. And as hard as it can be for the woman to, you know, let go of the hate and the upset, you know, especially when the man hasn't done what he's meant to have done with regards to the kids. But it's still always better where the children can still have a relationship with their dad, period. But to each their own. So the mom also now goes on to about the PSA that was done in 2018 or 2017, Kenya's PSA, in which she felt ambushed. You know, she kind of felt, oh, she didn't know she was going to be talking about this whole, you know, that whole situation. But she had said she would. I think pretty much what happened was she didn't realize how much of a platform it was going to, you know, that it was going to be shown on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is kind of huge, right? So she thought, okay, she was just going to be having a little tete-a-tete with the ladies and just sharing her story. But when it came out, a lot of people were now chiming in and saying, oh, Pastor Bailey, and he was allegedly, her father was a pastor, and they were like, oh. So there was a situation in which they got into a scuffle, and Cynthia's mom actually had to carry a knife to try and protect herself. So he kind of was looked at like a wife beater pretty much, and she wasn't happy about the whole. She really didn't realize it, and Cynthia is able to apologize and say, hey, like as long as she's sitting on this blue couch right now, she really didn't know, her mom didn't understand what a PSA was for domestic violence, and that she's really sorry about it and how she feels. So which is good. And then of course at this point they get to ask him, so obviously you don't want him to be there, and she's like, well, she's just gonna have her blinders on. And Noelle is like, girl, mama, what mom is trying to say, what your mom is trying to say is that I don't want him to be there because I'm going to be very uncomfortable. And I haven't seen him around, but I have seen her around. And if it's this one thing that you're going to do to make sure she's happy, hear it loud and clear from me. And that's what you like. That's what I like about the millennials. You can like it and you can also hate it, but they always tell you how it is. Sometimes you want to kill them for it, however you love them for it, and it's kind of nice to see. I like it. Like, that's it. At the end of the day, Cynthia can still do what she wants to do. However, it's just like, okay, these are the cards on the table, so you decide what you want to do. Okay, so Noelle has let her know, Mom, you don't need to have your dad there. Okay, to invite or not to invite. Whoo! So yeah, so Noelle is signing up for her grandmom. So next week we're going to see the ladies are going to be going on the trip, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of sex dungeoning going on. We'll see. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check me out on Instagram, FoxyMama365.